I would dump her ass on the side of the road. Sorry, I would. I'm terrible. I know.
But it is a lot more cool than what I thought it would be. Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. Sorry if I look super sweaty. It's because I am. It's very freaking hot right now. You might be able to hear my dog panting. But I'm doing something a little different, hence why I'm in a completely different space and in this long sleeve jumper, especially when I'm sweating my balls off here. But I want to do a reading vlog, which I've never done. I'm nervous. I hope it's entertaining for y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and read a popular book for once. And quite a few of you suggested that I should actually read ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm not excited, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry to all the Sarah J. Maas fans, but I know the whole plot line of the first book, so I want to skip the first one, but everybody says that I can't. So I'm being good, and I'm gonna read it. But that's the plan for the week. Meanwhile, I actually have some creative stuff that I want to work on that I kind of really need to get done, because I'm going to go to Disney World in September, so I have this purse that I've been painting that I need to finish. And then also, I've never talked to you guys about this, but I like to take thrifted clocks and I like to completely redo them and turn them into crazy things. All of them so far have actually been pretty much, no, I did a Looney Tunes one, but most of them have been Disney related now that I think about it. But I have a grandmother clock. I'm going to show that to you. And I totally want to turn it into the Haunted Mansion. So I'm excited about it. I want to get started on it. So I'm going to listen to ACOTAR and work on that clock, babe. Okay, it won't be ready by the end of this video. That will be a month-long project, but I digress. Let's get reading. I'll check back in with you in a little bit, I guess. All right, cool.
So for the clock, I want to actually do Haunted Mansion from Disneyland, and I want all of these sort of rooms to kind of be in the shelves as like a diorama. So you're kind of moving through the ride in the clock. But this is an old clock, so it has really neat details that I think already lend itself to the Haunted Mansion, especially the shelves are perfect for the rooms. But these details with almost like this little nail finish and then the pointed feature at the top, I do kind of have to fix it. But I think it would be perfect. The only bad thing is this is already painted, so I need to sand off someone's work, which I feel terrible about. But first I just need to clean this and then I'll sand it and then we can get going. So just trust me, it's gonna be all right.
Okay, so it's been a little bit, you guys. I got a couple coats on my clock and things like that, but it's been a couple days later. I'm really honestly not that far into the book because I'm not really enjoying it yet, if I'm being completely honest, but I do have a couple things that I want to say. One, starting off, they've gone through this whole terrible situation as a family, right? And literally no one is willing to do anything except Feyre. Everyone seems insanely useless, which is so sad for Feyre, and I can feel for her stress and all the pressure that's on her. But I have to say this because I've heard people talking about this, and it's like it's literally in my mind, like how. I understand Nesta is going to get a book in the future. I also know Nesta's going to be a Fae. I know a lot about this book already, you guys. But I genuinely do not understand why people like her, like at all. I'm the type of person, honestly, like she seems toxic. She seems useless. So my family is going through that. I would just be like, you know what? You're going to have to find your own way, dude, because you're not willing to help anything. I'm not going to help you survive. You need to learn this on your own because you're not willing to do anything for this family. You're just going to complain, add more pressure, add more stress to my already overfilling freaking bucket. You gotta go. Sorry. Like, I really hate, I hate her. The fact that she's saying things like she can't chop wood because of her nails and her hands, and then she tries and goes and manipulates Feyre after Feyre gets some money so she can go buy stuff. I don't like people like that. Those are the type of people, you wrong me once, you're out. I'm not giving you a second chance. So I don't know why people feel that this book should have been about Nesta and that Nesta's the more interesting character. I feel for Feyre, like so freaking bad. We'll see if it changes. Maybe Feyre's gonna become dumb. I don't know why people are saying things like that. But I'm sorry if like Nesta's one of your favorites. I hope she has a better character arc, but right now, like, I would dump her ass on the side of the road. Sorry, I would. I'm terrible. I know. But they're going through a terrible situation. They're barely even able to survive, and she's making it worse, so just saying. Just saying. But then the rest of it, too, like, this feels like such a young adult book, and I know that it is, and I don't read that, so that's, you know, definitely playing into things here. But they just got to Prithian. I just got past, like, the bog part. The bog was really cool. Wish that was more drawn out and had, like, a little bit more of a creepy factor. I think that could have been, like, super, super cool. But it was neat nonetheless. I like that that was in it. I hope there's more stuff like that. But the whole, like, mask thing being a part of, like, the blight, I don't like. I don't understand its purpose besides, you know, trying to make a fanciful mystery out of the Fae. So it feels very young adult. I don't like when there's just useless things in stories to either, like, make people seem hot or it just seems romantic, but it's just, like, it's very clearly just, like, something that's added on and doesn't add any value to a story. You know? So, I don't know. Hopefully it gets better. We're just in the beginning part anyways, so I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. I'm just going to keep painting my clock here and go from there. All right?
We're going to Michael's, all right? But first, I just wanted to say I'm actually enjoying the book, okay? And this is a pleasant surprise. I honestly thought that I wasn't going to like it. Just from everything that I heard, it didn't sound like a book that I would enjoy. And it's not like my favorite thing ever, but it is a lot more cool than what I thought it would be. Like, there's definitely some creep factor in here for sure, which I'm really enjoying, and I'm really freaking hoping that when they do the show, which I actually am very excited for now, I really hope that they do some really cool, like, CGI and character design for, like, the Naga and the Bog and the freaking fairy that's, like, murdered on top of the table and is just, like, bleeding out from having his wings ripped off. Totally cool. Loved every second of that. And it's just, I don't know. Well, I guess I should let you guys know where I'm at. I've gotten past, like, the Fire Knight. I've gotten past her meeting Rhysand, which I am one of those girlies that prefers the name Rhysand. But you can tell that they have that instant connection, and he just, like, oozes sensuality. Plus, he's more like the dark sort of fairy, so of course that's who we're attracted to. But I will say that when he comes to, like, see Tamlin and he's being glamored so he can't see Feyre, he is kind of an ass, you know? Like, so I don't know how we're gonna fall in love with him. I'm basically under the mountain right now, so I've gotten a little bit more action with him in the sense of Feyre and him interacting and him giving her that offer that after this is all done, which obviously that means he's convinced that she won't die. But after this is all done, that 1 week out of the month, she'll go to him. So very Hades and Persephone vibes I'm getting from that. But I don't know how we're going to fall in love with him. He is kind of an ass, and he was totally willing to let her just be in pain and die. So, I don't know. Questionable behavior right there. But also, too, I know when I checked in with you guys last time, I mentioned Nesta, and I still don't like her. I'm sorry. I really, really don't. But, like, I still find her to be a worthless family member. Her explanation of, well, I did this so Dad essentially would kind of come back to life and be willing to raise us properly and help get us through such a tough life situation. That's why I acted the way I did, because I knew you were strong, Feyre, and that you'd always find a way to bring in more money, and you'd always make sure there was a way for us to eat. That's not compliment, you guys. Like, I'm sorry. If that was your thinking, you're the older sister too. If that was your thinking, why didn't you just, like, sit Feyre down and say, hey, I'm gonna act like this, I'm gonna say these things to see if I can kind of get Dad to, like, jumpstart himself back to who he was when we were rich and we were not having to worry about putting food in our mouth and being able to survive to the next winter. That would have been a much more smarter, instead of just letting, like, internalizing all of that and letting Feyre have this absolute poor outlook of life and what future was going to be and become such a negative, depressed person, really. I'm sorry, that's not an excuse, man. Like, I don't like Nesta. I still don't like her. I still stick to what I said before. If I would have offed her, you know, I would have, you know, she's not a valuable family member. I see how she's supposed to be now, but I wouldn't have accepted that. I'm just saying. So I am enjoying it. It's got the creep factor, the whole gladiator vibes that are starting to go on now that she's down in the mountain. I do know what the riddle is. I do feel like the riddle's kind of obvious, but I already know what the riddle is because I've heard so many people talking about this. So, but I just wanted to check in with you guys really quick and just tell you that I am actually liking it, which is a surprise. But anyways, I'm going to go to Michael's now. I basically was trying to do like clay sculpting when I was trying to do the wrought iron fence around the top of the clock for the mansion, but that's not going to work, so I need to rethink that and go get the stuff that I need. So, and then on top of it, it's raining massively and there's a tornado warning right now, and I live in New England, so I know it's not the best decision to be driving when there's a tornado warning, but the craft goes on, you guys. The craft goes on. So I'll check back in a bit, hopefully when the book is done. Catch you later. Okay guys, I'm done. I'm finally done. I thought I would never say that, honestly. I was so scared for the longest time to read this because I was worried about Sarah J's Maas fans. Are you guys called Massers? I don't know what the name is, but I was so scared they'd come after me because I thought I wasn't gonna like it. And lo and behold, guys, I'm into it. I'm into it, even with the first book. I am so surprised because this started off real rocky, babe. But anyways, I already told you about the beginning stuff. I finished the book, so I got through all the stuff with Under the Mountain, her turning into a fairy, all that jazz. And the thing I have to say is this third, I guess, has definitely been much more enjoyable. I really feel like it started to feel not as young adult to me. You're getting a lot of that emotion, which I appreciated, which I feel like in young adult, most often, you just have this really strong teenage hero who doesn't really understand how to process emotions, and they're just like this incredible, amazing fighter, and they go through traumatic experiences, but at the end of it, they're just like, I'm fine. I'm totally cool, man. Wasn't like that. So I massively appreciated that on so many freaking levels. But I loved how when she is under the mountain, there is the creepy fairy vibe. I get it now, you guys. I totally understand why Sarah J. Maas is really the person who kicked off fantasy romance. I understand the thing about fairies now. I was just annoyed for the longest time seeing fairies everywhere. I wanted vampires. I'm not gonna lie now, I'm kind of into fairies. Are there fairy vampires, actually? Ooh, bitch. That could be real cool. Okay. Also, is there, like, fairy gothic horror romance? Because that'd be cool, too. If there is, give me Rex. Okay? Give me Rex. But anyways, I digress. I need to tell you guys about the story that you already know. But I loved when we were under the mountain. The whole, like, worm thing was really cool. I haven't seen that before, and that gives you that dirty, icky, gross vibes. And they're talking about the smell and the mud and the bones and the blood and the death. Love that. I'm really hoping when we get to the show, because I'm so excited for the show now, I'm really hoping the emotional side and the creepy side is going to be heightened. Like, we're really going to put some, like, good writers on this for as far as, like, the script goes, and also, like, really good CGI. Oh, man. It could be so freaking good. I'm very excited for when it comes out. But I loved all the trials that she went through. I also loved that, like, the riddle, I know I mentioned this, I do feel like it's obvious, but obviously she needed to also go through those trials because they were really banging, they were really cool, and we need to draw this out, right? We need to kind of build up that moment of, is she going to get through it? Is she not? Is she going to save all these people? So I understand. I do understand.
But I also loved how, like, the adder was playing into this. I loved all the creepy creatures. I loved the kind of, like, nice tormenting quality that Amarantha, kind of her character plays into. Really thought that was cool. I also loved how, like, when we're getting to the part where it's her last trial and she has to kill the fairies, I loved so much that, like, we actually turned this into a scene. That's another thing with young adult. I feel like certain scenes that could be really built out and be really emotional oftentimes kind of go through way too quickly just to show the strength of the heroine, where I massively appreciated that they had Feyre going through this internal turmoil of just, do I kill them? Do I not kill them? If I don't actually do this, even though I have to basically sacrifice just how I am going to be as a person in the future, I'm going to sacrifice myself by killing these people in order to save all of these other fairies. So obviously that's the choice I need to go with. Or I don't do this, spare these 3, but I'm going to basically commit all of these other fairies into a life of just doom and sadness and terribleness. So I loved that she really struggled. The first fairy who's begging for his life, fantastic. Loved the writing there. The second fairy has a totally different experience, but still very, like, sad in that she's just trying to pray and just telling Feyre to, like, get it over with. But Feyre at this point, after already killing one, is just going through so much, just thinking that she can't do this again, that she's, every time she's basically stabbing that knife, she's losing a part of herself. Love that. I love that so much. I really like the character side of things. I like emotional things, and I like characters going through really hard, traumatic things. I don't know why, but I do. So I thought that was awesome. The Heart of Stone was a little cheesy McCheeserson for me, but it's okay. It's fiction and it's fantasy. But that was nice at the end, how Tamlin is the third person. I kind of saw that coming, but that's okay. But I did enjoy how Rhysand was kind of, like, pestering him and kind of riling him up, knowing that he's really going to be the weapon against Amarantha. I thought that was nice. However, I still kind of feel a little weird about Rhysand. I don't know how I'm going to fall in love with him yet, because I appreciated the moment when he comes into Feyre's cell and he's just tired, really. So his facade goes down and he's just kind of venting to her in a way, giving her information that he really probably shouldn't, in that he's acting this way in order to rile up Tamlin. I still don't know how I feel about that. I think it's helped me move myself closer to him, but he was still like a total ass when Feyre was basically dying and Tamlin wasn't around. So I don't know. It feels kind of close to the Nesta vibes, and I still don't like Nesta. I stick behind what I said earlier on in the video. Nesta can suck it. But yeah, I loved it. I loved when Amarantha died. Amazing. The sword, like, through the face. Loved it so much. And I also really appreciated that Feyre dies. I knew she was going to become a fairy, but I didn't know she would die. But I loved, like, the description of her, of, like, her bones being crunched and, like, her head's totally contorted in the complete wrong way. So you know that she's dead and that it was snapped. I hope they show that. I thought that was all really cool stuff. So I'm very happy. I'm going to say that this is 3.5 stars for me, just because in the beginning it was really slow for me. I still feel like the romance between Tamlin and Feyre, I felt like I was being told it. I didn't actually feel it. But on the other end of the spectrum, I loved the creepy stuff that was in here. I do feel like there was a lot of creative sort of fanaticism within her storyline that I enjoyed, that I still actually even haven't heard in other books that I read so far. And it made me really enjoy fairies, so mad props for that. But I also massively appreciated the emotional side. I think that's the big thing. That I'm seeing it becoming new adult, or at least becoming more adult and more serious, I guess. So I can't wait for more of that emotional sort of PTSD to kind of play out in Feyre in the second book. I am going to definitely, like, hard read that, though. I don't want to listen to it again. That might also be affecting my rating because I didn't like the narrator. But yeah, I liked it. I'm pleasantly surprised, but anyways, enough with that. I'm going to read the second book. I don't know when, because I have a bunch of books on my list, and the romance readathon is coming up very soon. So I either need to read it right before that, or maybe I'll read it after. I'm not too sure. But as far as the clock goes, the center, I'm not going to get to the dioramas for a long time. I'm sure I need to finish the outside, I feel like. But I was working on the wrought iron fence, like I was telling you about, had to go to Michael's, all that jazz. And so I went to Dollar Tree, picked up like those plastic placemats and painted them the green of the clock. And then I used puffy paint in order to, actually I should give you probably a better side. I did some puffy paint, black puffy paint, to kind of make it look like the wrought iron fence that goes around the Haunted Mansion, which I feel is kind of pretty iconic. You can let me know. But I don't like this. I don't like that you have the sections that's supposed to be between the fence that you can see through, but it's still very obvious seeing the green where the wrought iron fence is. So that's really, really bugging me. I need to figure out if I need to just nix the wrought iron fence altogether, which I'm kind of bummed about, and my Irish side doesn't like to be told no, even if I'm the one saying no. So I'm in a little bit of a dilemma. I think what I need to do, I'll put the video in here of what it looks like up here, but I think what I need to do is put the columns on the front of the clock and decide if that's enough of the Haunted Mansion feel, because it is going to be really gaudy. There's going to be paintings on the side, the dioramas, the painting on the bottom. So there is going to be a lot going on. But if the columns are enough, maybe I will just nix the wrought iron fence. If I still feel like I need it, I need to find a completely different way of how to do it. Part of me wants to try clay again, but that was literally like a pain in the butt. So I don't know. Like I told you, this clock was definitely not going to be done by the end of the video. This is going to take a very long time. I'm trying to get it done by October, and right now it's July. So that gives you an idea. But anyways, that's it. I'll probably post more stuff about the clock, maybe on my Instagram. If I do another vlog in the future, maybe I'll work on it some more. I don't know. This was my first vlog. I'm sorry if it was chaotic. It's my virgin vlog, guys. All right? But that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're an ACOTAR fan, I am joining the Masters. I'm joining the Masters, you guys. I guess that's what I'm saying. But anyways, you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope it's not nearly as hot as it was this week. I know the world was basically just insane. But I will see you guys later. Bye.